Doomscroll.fm, Saturday, the 23rd of May 2026, where reality checks bounce like a kangaroo on a trampoline. This show is 100% AI generated, an algorithmic fever dream where logic sleeps and absurdity reigns. And now for some views. Click like and subscribe.
Pentagon freezes symbolic defense board with Canada, risks backlash. Freezing a relic of Cold War diplomacy to pressure Canada might just defrost old suspicions, turning polite neighbours into icy skeptics with a side of maple-flavoured resentment.
Colombian elections overshadowed by increasing violence and conflict. When democracy is painted in blood, candidates might as well campaign with bulletproof vests and promises of a safer tomorrow that never arrives.
Afghan fathers sell daughters, claiming it's the only way to feed their families. Desperation turns human lives into currency, while those in power debate sanctions and humanitarian aid from the comfort of air-conditioned offices.
NATO chief claims U.S. troop withdrawals won't hurt defenses, calls it structured, because nothing says strategic stability like
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Turkish court nullifies CHP's internal decision, reinstates Kılıçdaroğlu's leadership. In Turkey, democracy is like a game of musical chairs, except the court decides when the music stops and who gets to sit.
Rubio labels Cuba a security threat, then Havana calls him a liar. When your foreign policy is a Cold War mixtape, expect the hits to sound like broken records and the dance moves to be awkward.
Hyundai recalls over 6,000 Elantra hybrids for fire risk. Fixes nothing. The only thing hotter than the engine is the irony of an eco-friendly car threatening to barbecue your driveway.
Austrian ex-intelligence officer convicted for Russia spying reawakens old fears. When your country becomes a spy playground, it's hard to tell whether the whispers are secrets or just the wind mocking your naivety.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
AI pricing collapses as Uber spends entire 2026 budget in 4 months. When your financial strategy resembles a gambler's losing streak, it's time to reconsider your definition of investment before the house wins.
Fuel duty-free extended until year-end despite climate pledges. Extending the fuel duty cut is like slapping a band-aid on a sinking ship, while the planet's temperature keeps rising faster than gas prices.
UK heatwave shatters spring record, then leaves Africa in the shade. When your climate drama makes Africa look like the understudy, it's clear the weather's gone from Shakespearean to slapstick, with melting ice creams as the punchline.
Guardiola declares Man City need new energy, then exits after a decade. When your manager says the team needs new energy, it's a polite way of saying the battery's dead and the warranty's expired.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Who knew chaos could be so arousing? Constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Drown in the headlines you ignored. They're hungry for your apathy.
Plane diverts to Canada after boarding error Ebola scare. Because nothing brings out the warm Canadian hospitality like an unexpected guest. With a potentially deadly virus, welcome to our panic room, eh?
Bungie halts Destiny 2 updates, fans lament, at a loss for words as content drought begins. The end of an era leaves players wondering if their next raid will be finding a new game. Nothing like nostalgia to fill the void left by corporate priorities.
Winning awards for revealing unseen places is like painting over shadows. The light's been there all along, just ignored by choice.
Parents fume over deportation of abusive nursery worker after 15% of jail term. It's a curious world where justice seems to be a limited time offer, as if prison sentences come with a while stocks last disclaimer.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
World Cup squad cuts 55 players, then calls it team spirit. Hope and heartbreak dance together as players clutch phones, praying for a text that says you're in instead of better luck next time.
Everest record holder warns of danger after 2 Indian mountaineers die on overcrowded peak. When reaching the top means stepping over bodies, maybe it's time to rethink what conquering really means.
Jury discharged in Ian Watkins' prison murder trial after deliberations hit a wall. Justice halted mid-drama is a reminder that even notorious headlines can fizzle out, leaving society to ponder its appetite for spectacle over closure.
When your wrist gives out before your ambition, it's a reminder that even champions are at the mercy of their own biology's whims.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Iran reviews U.S. response on day 83, calls it progress. Diplomacy moves at the speed of molasses while the war machine runs on espresso. Tehran's patience is a virtue the battlefield can't afford.
Elon Musk files for SpaceX IPO, then dreams of trillionaire status. If money could launch us to Mars, Musk would already be there, counting his billions in zero gravity while the rest of us are still stuck in traffic.
Chess experts claim mastering intricate rules elevates your game, yet players still blunder. In a universe where strategy should reign supreme, it's ironic how often human error transforms geniuses into jesters on a 64-square stage.
Research succeeds or fails based on hardware, not merit in a hardware lottery. In the grand casino of scientific progress, your groundbreaking algorithm might be one incompatible chipset away from irrelevance, proving luck trumps logic every time.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dopamine hit of existential dread, now with extra confusion. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. The only truth is your own, wrapped in a sweet, seductive lie.
It's like asking a procrastinator to finish a novel. The plot drags on while everyone pretends there's a climax in sight.
Activists smash Starbucks cups protesting Tank Day campaign's insensitivity. When your marketing strategy is as tone-deaf as a broken record, expect shattered cups and shattered reputations. Corporate apologies won't mop up the spill.
Joining a company focused on AI ethics feels like a vegan working at a steakhouse, where the menu is ethics but the kitchen serves profit.
When life feels like a never-ending search for clarity, this track reminds us that sometimes the static is the message.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The end is nigh, and it's wearing a smile. Let constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your clicks are tender offerings to a digital beast that craves chaos.
Florida GOP senator claims no military needed in Cuba, then expects uprising. Relying on oppressed citizens to rise up is like betting on a blindfolded horse to win the race. Good luck with that strategy, Senator.
WHO head minimizes Ebola threat, then reassures it's not a pandemic. When the world's on fire, it's comforting to hear a bureaucrat say the flames are merely local, not global, until they spread.
Israeli minister mocks Gaza activists, then calls it diplomacy. When diplomacy looks like a stand-up routine, you know the punchline is more tragic than hilarious.
Somaliland recognizes Jerusalem as capital, then plans embassy opening. When a self-declared republic shows off its political bravado, it's like a teenager declaring independence while still living in the basement, bold yet utterly dependent.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality is now available in monochrome. You're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Embrace the static, let it fill the void you call certainty.
Iran's decision-making, dominated by military fraternity, defies democratic ideals. When your country's future is dictated by a clique that treats diplomacy like a game of risk, it's no wonder the world watches with bated breath.
When bureaucracy meets exclusivity, the American dream gets a velvet rope. Now even paperwork requires a VIP pass, making inclusion the ultimate illusion.
Proposed world's smallest statue honors mosquito blamed for Cromwell's death.
Alberta lawmakers recommend October vote on remaining in Canada, then call it unity. Because nothing says national solidarity like threatening to leave, just like a teenager declaring independence while still living in the basement.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck, snap, sortalize, sell in a second. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Only 20% of negotiations progress, and Qatar calls it patience. Diplomacy is like watching paint dry, except the paint is nuclear and everyone pretends the fumes aren't getting to them.
Only 15% of carbon emissions reduced, and ExxonMobil calls it success.
It's like promising a feast and serving breadcrumbs and calling it a banquet. The only ones satisfied are those who never go hungry.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Saturday, the 23rd of May, 2026, your static-laden oracle of nonsense. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you might as well start searching for Bigfoot in your backyard. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.